Hey, welcome to Collector on YouTube. So last video we talked about the free upgrades you can do with the obviously exception of the brass dips. And this time we are going to go ahead and talk about the store-bought upgrades and a few other upgrades that are on the particular vehicles that you can see now. Obviously, we got the Deadbolt, SCX24 Deadbolt. We got the Jeep, and then we've got the what's labeled as 1967 Chevy C10. The what you see here done so far just obvious when you get this vehicle that we showed in the unboxing, that there were smaller tires. They were switched and put onto the Deadbolt. They give the Deadbolt a lower center of gravity because obviously the problem with the Deadbolt is top heavy, and so that kind of helps with that automatically. But plus, this truck looks awesome. So if you remember, I told you that there were some cool things that were done to this. So I'm going to first talk about this, and then because there's only been a little bit done to this, there's been a little bit done to that, and then we're going to go into this one, which has the most of the store-bought upgrades. So yeah, so this here, I'm going to show you stance just because it's really cool. So yeah, that's just, it just looks natural, like it should be that way. It's awesome. And so what he has done, and this is my cousin's vehicles, by the way, but what he's done, he's got the brass wheel extensions, right? As you can see, we can do here. You can see him here. So they're awesome. He's got them in his front. He's got them in the back. That's what gives it that stance. He's done. Does this have the lift?
Yep.
Yep. So he's got the lift in this. Show that. Actually, here, let's do it this way. So you can see the suspension, the shocks, I mean, suspension, same thing, right? He's actually went ahead and we drilled a hole just like the other one, which I'll show on here on the Deadbolt. Is that, like I said in the last video, you actually don't have to drill a hole. The hole's already there for you. But this one you had to. And then same with the back. This one, obviously, you don't have to drill a hole. You can just place it. He places his, whoa, he, right there. He places his in the front. Obviously, he's on mine. I was in the back. Doesn't really matter where you place it. Either one works. And again, remember, it raises the center of the center of the vehicle, so you get less scraping. He went ahead and cut off his mounts, as you can see. But so what I talked about in the last video too is something I wanted to show you that we had to deal with the front. Is with these, you can see here, they have mounts for your LEDs. So if you wanted to run your LED through your body, obviously you want to run it down through this way, run it up this way, so that way it doesn't interfere with opening and closing your body. You can. You'll have to drill the holes through the light to be able to do it, but yeah, it's cool that they did that for you. So, and I think that's it for this one, right? So, but yeah, anyway, again.
Oh, also the steering.
Oh, that's right. There's a, if you notice here in the front, and what is that again? That's the
steering linkage from Shapeways that is 3D printed so that it tightens up all the slop that's in between the servo and the actual steering of the tires. So when you turn back and forth now, there's no slop and the wheels don't wiggle in any way. If you drive backwards, it's not going to swerve off in a direction. It holds them straight. So haven't gotten to test it out too much yet, but it fits very, very nicely. It installs really easily, and so far it seems like it's done a really good job.
right. It's got a pretty nice texture to it, but yeah. So 3D parts, awesome. And I'll do my best to post whatever linkage links that I can to the parts that we show in this video. so that if you like what you see, you can buy them, which will be awesome. Yeah, so there's that vehicle. Put those on in a minute. All right, so next we'll talk about the Deadbolt. What's been done with that? Obviously, like I said, the smaller tires were put on and switched from the Chevy, just to give it that lower, because again, like I said, they body's top heavy because you have all that, you know, fancy little detail stuff in here, you know, because it's extremely detailed. And then let's see, what else have you done with this one besides?
I did lift it, and then I put it back down when we put the smaller tires on it. But like you were saying, there's already screws and pre-drilled holes in the Deadbolt that you don't have to drill anything. You can just literally move the shocks down to the screw holes that are directly below where they mount now, raise the frame up by doing that, and you'll get a cool lift out of it. But when I went ahead and robbed the bigger tires off of the Deadbolt to put them on the Chevy, it definitely made it look a little weird to have it lifted and put smaller tires on it. So it actually drives pretty good with smaller tires on it. The tires that came on the Chevy are actually really good tires. They're just, I'm kind of a truck guy. I wanted a lifted looking truck with wide tires. You know, I want this truck in real life. So
Right.
I figured I'd make the Chevy look the way I wanted it to. And the Deadbolt came out to actually drive pretty good on the smaller tires. It does a pretty good job. It actually keeps up with the other two trucks.
Right. Yeah. Which is cool because, you know, obviously Deadbolt's been around a little longer, so a lot of the parts that you'll find online were originally created for the Deadbolt, which, you know, you'll see a couple parts are actually interchangeable, which is awesome. So, and then, so now, yeah, we'll go over the Jeep. So this thing's awesome. Obviously this is your first one, right? So
Yeah, that one's been the one I've done the most kind of homemade mods, and then kind of undone some stuff, and then done a whole bunch of store-bought mods to replace some of the homemade stuff, and then kind of an expression of what I wanted my Jeep to look like. So I cut some panels out of the body and put some color on there, and then kind of threw a bunch of parts on it.
So yeah, so what you can see on here, obviously the servo, that's been replaced, and what kind of, there's a Sevix, I'm not sure, can't really read the numbers on there. But I'll try to find a link for that and put that in there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I still have the box for that. I can find exactly where it was bought off Amazon. It's a very simple servo that shows up on a very quick RC servo search on Amazon, and I think it was somewhere between like 15 and 30 bucks. It wasn't really expensive, but it's much stronger than the factory servo.
Yes.
And it's actually really, really close to the servo's size. I did cut down the servo tray quite a bit, and then ended up gluing that servo to the servo tray after many, many different modifications to try to put it in there. That to me became the simplest, and I got to remove the most weight from the back of the car by cutting some of that servo tray away. But it ended up working out really good. It's really strong, and that with the Shapeways steering linkage makes the front of the car a lot more controllable, and it's been a really good upgrade so far.
Yeah, the same thing that's put on the Chevy C10. You can actually see the texture in that if it zoom works out. There we go. Yeah, so there is obviously the dip cover, or the dip covers, the brass, and those are from, I believe, Hot Racing. And you actually find a lot of good parts on Hot Racing. I'll again, like I said, post links to what I can. Yeah, and then you'll see front and back. You definitely want these. Like I said before, these are definitely recommended. That's those and the wheel weights, which you can actually see here. He has the wheel weights and all 4 tires.
And those are from Hot Racing as well.
Yep. Also from Hot Racing. You can see that. So then also you have these here.
Yeah, and those metal links are, I found the metal links on somebody selling on eBay. They're 3D printed ends, and they're their own homemade or proprietary metal links that they just 3D printed the ends, and they came ready to fit on the vehicle already, same size as the factory ones that I took off. But if you guys want to do an upgrade like that, one thing worth mentioning that I didn't even think about until I got them is that the attachments for the screws and the kind of the barrel nut or the joint itself, you have to remove it from the old plastic ones. They don't come with their own. They're just open-ended rod links. So you have to put the ball joint in there from the plastic ones. And to do that, I had to destroy the factory ones. So kind of once you do that, you can't go back. So if you wanted to reverse it, you'd have to order a new set of links or be smarter than myself and buy ball joints ahead of time as a kit. You could probably get them for the SCX24 from Axial, and then you'd have a set to put right into the 3D printed rod links when they showed up, and you wouldn't have to destroy your plastic ones if you wanted to go back to them.
Right. So, good information. And then, let's see, and I think the last, besides, no, we got a couple here. Actually, this is, you have the bumper here.
Right. That's a hot racing part as well. And it's very hard to get. If you guys can find that on any of the websites that you might want to scan through, like RC 4-Wheel Drive or Banggood or eBay, any of the sites that I've been able to find a lot of these parts on, most of the hot racing stuff sells out really quick if it's the stuff you're looking for. So if you do come across it and it's available and you have the funds at the time, I recommend not thinking about it because you'll probably not get the chance later.
Yeah. So, and I'll, again, like I said, post a link. Some of these items may actually be back ordered, like always. And then I think, let's see, he did put you'll see here,
Oh, my tow hook.
Little tow hook. Just, we're, experimenting. Well, actually, you'll eventually probably see a video. We actually, with the Deadbolt here, you'll see this, where this is our tester tow hook, that we're eventually going to make a good one. But we tested connecting these two and did a driving video with them, which is pretty cool. So, we'll have to eventually show that on this channel. But so, and then I think the last, see, I think that is your last. Besides, you did do the lift on this one as well.
Well, and also the rock sliders.
Well, yeah, that's. But you had the rock sliders, which I'll go over that in a sec, and then you have the. Sorry, should probably put it in the video so you can see it. They're also lifted. Had to drill a hole just like you did in the Chevy. And again, it's definitely recommended, I think, if you choose to.
As far as I can tell, it might be different, but it seems to be that the Jeep and the Chevy are the exact same frame, exact same setup, exact same lengths and axles. I mean, with the exception of the smaller tires that came on it and then the body that's on it, it seems like it's pretty much the exact same. So any Jeep parts you've got, can get your hands on, are pretty much going to work on that Chevy as far as I can tell. Can't guarantee it, but it so far they seem identical.
Right. Yeah, definitely. And so these you have are your
Shapeways rock sliders, and I got those at the same time as I ordered the steering from Shapeways. And like I said, they're, as far as I can tell, I don't know a whole lot about it, but they are 3D printed. So as far as how many they produce at a time, I'm pretty sure these were made to order. That's at least what the website made it seem like. So I ordered a single set of the steering linkage, and when you do that, it does actually come in 2 sets. So I was able to put steering linkage on this and the Chevy, and then these rock sliders, which are also 3D printed out of some pretty good stout material that I haven't tested a whole lot yet, but if anything, I really like the way that they fill up the underbelly, and I can see them keeping me from falling down on things as hard and protecting a little bit of the body and sliding over some stuff instead of getting hung up.
Right. So that's the store-bought upgrades, and if that's the right way to go, it's most of these parts I would highly recommend. And obviously, there's probably even more that's going to be out there. Things that that I'm sure he's going to end up doing more, especially with this guy.
Oh yeah, there's plenty more to come with all 3 of these. I'm not sure in any specific direction what I'm going to want to do with any one individually, but I'm having a lot of fun mixing and matching parts, and these things are a lot of fun. It is a little kind of spendy considering its size, but it gives you great return on performance, and with a shovel in your backyard, you can create some dirt mounds pretty quick and have a lot of fun with these things. So plenty more to come, and lots more upgrades, especially as the aftermarket supports and gives us more that we can put on our SCX24s. I'm definitely going to be doing that. So keep a lookout.
Right, definitely. And I wanted to bring up too that I did get a question about doing the lift and making them top heavy, and I wanted to make sure that I mentioned that. So it does make it top heavy if you don't have any weights. This is, I mean, so you got 9 grams per tire on the wheel weights. You got 9 grams coming from the diff covers. You've got a heavier servo because now it's metal, not plastic. You've got aluminum, which probably doesn't provide a whole lot of weight, but who knows?
The links, right?
The links. And obviously there's some, people have done conversions where they swapped everything and got, lower center of gravity. But I think with these weights and everything, you're perfectly fine. It does tip way less than it does out of the box. And, we did a video with the Deadbolt out of the box kind of a thing. And but it does better now, especially these little tires. Obviously you don't have the huge clearance, but it doesn't tip over anymore as much.
Right. Yeah, gotta be honest. There's definitely some of these parts that I've put on the Jeep and that I'll end up putting on these that I'm selfish to admit that they're literally just because I like the way they look. I understand It's not necessarily giving better performance. I think my favorite part that I've got is that hot racing front bumper for the Jeep, just because it's been so hard to get. I think it looks cool. But the factory bumper performs just as good, if not better, because it's not metal. It slides across things better. The metal tends to grab onto stuff a little more. So the upgrades we're putting on here, I do understand not all of them are completely going to give it a performance upgrade, but I'm definitely going to indulge in trying to make them look cool, or at least what I think makes them look cool.
Right. So there you go. That's the part 2 of the SCX24. So we're in discussions. We haven't planned or kind of figured it out yet, but we want to do a special little game that we're going to play that hopefully you'll find a lot of entertainment from. But, that's coming up, and we'll talk about that later. And again, more to come, and I hope you like what we're presenting. And if you do, I would go ahead and hit that like button. We would very much appreciate it. And if you want to keep seeing what we're doing, obviously you can subscribe. And we would appreciate that too. Got definite plans coming. So, yeah, you guys have a great day, and thank you for watching The Collector.